everyone, so welcome to today's video. We are doing a tutorial using some of the items that I purchased for the holiday Sephora sets. I talked about this in a previous video dedicated to just the kits and what's included. So today's video is going to show you some of those products, as many as I can, applied and demoed so you can see how they work, how they wear. And this is the look that I came up with today. I did my complexion off camera, so we're doing eyes, cheeks, and lips today. So I hope you will enjoy it. If you want to see these products in action, then just keep watching. Before we get into the eyeshadow application, I did prime my lids with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This is what I use as my eyeshadow primer, and I do this every single day before eyeshadow, and it prevents creasing, and it also sort of intensifies the color because it has a bit of a pink undertone to it, and it just sort of cancels out any discoloration. Color here, this one is like an ivory type of shade. It is matte, and so I'm going to take my brush and just kind of quickly dust this all over to make sure that everything is well set before going in with any more color. So for my crease, I'm going to go with this soft matte peach here. It's the third color in the second row. And I'm going to just blend this back and forth right in my natural crease. So far, it's blending out very well. And I'm not seeing any fallout just yet. We'll see how it goes when we get to the darker shades. But I'm just using my ColourPop brush. This is the E22 that came in a brush set a couple years ago, and it's actually a very good crease brush. I'm going to start with this shade here that's a little bit more warm. It is matte, and it's a warm matte tan color. And I'm going to add that to my crease and blend that right into that peachy shade. Well, that one is very pigmented. Do the same on the other eye. I'm going to switch to my BK Beauty 212 brush, and with nothing on the brush, I'm going to just work this back and forth. I'm switching to this one from BK Beauty because my crease brush from ColourPop that I use still has some product on it, and I'm really not aiming to add more product. I'm just wanting to blend what I've got and then sort of kind of assess the level of depth that I have here and then add more if I choose to, which I'm going to just take whatever's left on my brush and continue to blend and build this shade. I'm going to switch to my Refer number 26 brush, which is like a large pencil brush, and I'm going to do the same sort of layering on my lower lash line. So I'm going to start with that peach shade and go from outer corner to almost the inner corner. I'm going to take that same warm tan, same brush, and apply it right over the top of that peach. And where more placement right now will blend in just a moment. Going back in with my ColourPop brush, and no additional product. I'm just blending this out just to get it kind of thicker and kind of pull it down just a little bit more for a more smoky effect. You can keep it closer to the lower lash line if you prefer. I'm going to deepen up a little bit more on my crease and the outer V, particularly with another brown. It's still warm, but it's a few shades darker. It's this brown here in the last row. It's the first one in the last row. If you bought this palette or if you get it in the future, it's the first brown in the lower row. And I'm going to tap and just kind of press, you can see. And I'm going to blend this and soften those edges, keeping it right on this outer part of my eye, not pulling it up too high or too much into the inner crease area. I'm going to take that same darker brown with my Refer 26 and add that to halfway on the lower lash line. So from outer corner to about halfway. And I'm just now patting the same brown shade, just a little bit more concentrated, closer to the lash line and right on the outer V of the eye, and not really blending and pulling this in too much to my lid space because I do want to add something shimmery there. So for the lid, this is where the fun comes in. You get to choose any of these shades. So I will kind of quickly swatch. You have like an icy blue shade. You have a really pretty pink This is kind of like a soft pink shade. You have one that's kind of like a duochrome. It looks blue, but then it kind of shifts to a little bit of like a purpley tone. Then you have this one that's a little bit more of like a taupey with more sparkle to it. And it seems to be a little bit lighter in pigment, maybe just from swatching. But when it's applied, it might be a little bit more pigmented and show up better. But that does have a little bit of sparkle. You have a nice soft gold shade as well. And then let me use my other hand. You have this kind of warm, goldeny, sort of terracotta peach shade, and then a deeper gold. So there's two different gold shades in this palette. So one that's a little bit deeper and one that's just a little bit brighter and more of like a yellowy gold with a bit of champagne in it. And then this one that's just more, a little bit deeper, not quite bronze, but a little bit more on that sort of shade range. And then you have a deeper, more coppery bronze, which I live for colors like this. So I'm not going to use that as a surprise to those of you who follow my tutorials, because this is something that I would have gone for first. This shade here, this is the third one in the third row. So it's this shade here, right there. And for this, I'm going to go in with my good old MAC 239 brush, which is a flat shader brush. I'm going in with the product dry, and we'll see how that goes as far as pigment and fallout before we dampen the brush if it's needed. And I do feel like it is quite light, the color. Using my finger, because it is a little bit on the drier side, and I'm just going to kind of tap and press. Oh yeah, you see that? That's with a brush, and then here it is with using your finger. And there is a little bit of like a sparkly, silvery, like specks in it. It's not like big chunks of glitter, but it definitely is very sparkly, very holiday appropriate. I know I said I wasn't going to use this, but I just can't help myself. We're going to go in with the kind of deep bronzy copper shade just on the outer corner and kind of blend that into the shade. So it's right next to that same eyeshadow. This one feels a lot creamier and more of that traditional metallic creamy eyeshadow formula that you may be used to using if you like shimmer eyeshadows. Whereas the one that I initially applied on my lid feels a little bit drier, a little bit more sparkly, so somewhat of a topper type of shade. There is a little bit of pigment to it, but it's not as intense as some of the other more traditional shimmer shades. So I'm going to just use my finger and pat this right over the top of that dark brown. And just sort of blend the two together. Yeah, I do like that. I think that just definitely made everything so much better. And I think I may include a little bit more of that sort of coppery bronze shade with my pencil brush. This is the Refer 26, and I'm going to use a little bit of that to add to my lower lash line. Just a little bit more pizzazz to that lower lashes. And pull that color in and just completely tie in that look. And I think that that looks really, really good. So now I'm going to clean up with a little bit of some powder, brightening powder from Charlotte Tilbury around the outer edge, and then do eyeliner and mascara, and then I'll show you the completed look. For eyeliner, I chose to use my NYX Epic Ink eyeliner in dark brown, which is one of my favorites, and the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara, which I actually have been using consistently and it's growing on me. It was one of the newer products that I shared with you last week. So I've been using it since posting that video and it's kind of growing on me. For the inner corner, I did add a little bit of highlight and I just used my Hollywood Glow Glide Architect highlighter from Charlotte Tilbury in the Champagne Glow inner corner and through the brow bone, just because there isn't something that's kind of shimmery and very light in this palette that is more of a shimmer. The lightest shade that I have on my lids is actually kind of got a little bit of sparkle, a little bit more kind of glitter. So I didn't want to use that for the inner corner or my brow highlight. So I just used a face highlighter for that step. So moving on to blush, we need to add some color. I do have my bronzer on, which will be listed and linked for you down below. I have some blushes, the new Danessa Myricks that I talked about in the previous video for the holiday set. This is the shade called It Girl, which is a really bright pink shade. And I think I want to use that, but I also want to mix in some of the Rare Beauty blushes. The two that came in that set, I also talked about this in the previous video, Virtue and Wisdom. Virtue is kind of like a warm peachy shade. Wisdom is more of like a berry tone. So I think I want to mix the two. Why not? This is what I love about makeup, is just kind of exploring and mixing different formulas and colors. So I'm going to start with a tiny little drop, little bit of the Virtue from Rare Beauty. That's the smallest amount possible. They are incredibly pigmented, so I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario F1 brush. And I'm going to just work that color into my brush and then just kind of tap and blend. This brush is perfect for blush. I love this brush so much. And that tiny little drop is what's giving me the color on my cheeks right now. Like the tiniest little bit. That's the thing I will warn you with the Rare Beauty blushes, is you don't want to use too much. That is so pretty. It's kind of peachy, kind of warm. It actually is very doable for my fair skin. As I mentioned in the previous video when I talked about the kits itself, I thought it was going to be a little too dark based off of some photos. Some looked a little dark, some looked a little bit more my speed and what I would wear. And I thought the only way I'm going to know is by trying, right? So I'm glad I bought the kit because I was afraid that it was just going to be too dark, but it's not. It's really, really nice. So you know what? Let's just go for some of the Danessa Myricks, the It Girl. This is the Yummy Skin Balm. It comes with actually a Yummy Skin Universal Balm in like a clear shade. I think I'm going to use my beauty blender for this, and I'm going to take just a little bit. And I mean the tiniest little bit. I'm like kind of scared. I don't want to go overboard with it because it is, these are pigmented. I have the Rosé and Brunch from when the formula initially launched, and it is beautiful. It's very blurring, I will say, and it's matte, but like a soft matte. It just is such a really unique formula. Whew. Whoa. So I'm just going to kind of bounce this back and forth over the Rare Beauty. And it's not completely flat and matte, but it's also not extremely dewy and radiant. There is a little bit of glow from it. It could also be the Rare Beauty blush, so I'm going to use this again just on its own with nothing else mixed into it to really see if this is exactly like the Rosé and Brunch, which I think is like a soft, more matte finish. Okay, so for highlighter, I have the Rare Beauty ones. These do look kind of dark. This is the Magnetize and the Transcend. Transcend is more of a rose gold. The Magnetize is more of a traditional gold shade. This is going to be my first time trying the Rare Beauty liquid highlighter formula. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm going to just tread softly as I do with the blush, and I'm going to show you. It's the tiniest little bit. And I'm going to get, where's my highlighting brush? I'm going to use my go-to highlighting brush and just kind of work that into the brush and just kind of pat that on. Okay. So I think with that blush underneath, you can really see the glow. It's there. It's intense. You may see me from outer space if I do too much, but it is really pretty though. Do you see that? You see that glow? Super nice. So in my previous video, I did talk about a Sephora Favorites lip kit, and in that kit is a full size of my all-time favorite lip liner, the Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. This is my current one, so it's very, very small. We're kind of working our way down, and so I'm going to save the new one that I got in the kit for a backup when I run out of this one, so I'm going to just use my current one. So throughout the entire video, I've had the Summer Fridays lip balm on, the clear one, to kind of prep my lips for my lip combo for the day. So I'm just going right over the top of that with my lip liner, and that's the Pillow Talk shade. It's like my lips but better. It is a staple in my collection. It is a must-have. And I'm going to fill in my lips with this lip pencil. I have a couple options. I'm going to go in with the Divine Rose lipstick from Mcgrath. This is the MatteTrance lipstick. It's part of that set, and I think it's going to be a good match for today's combo with that lip liner already applied. I think it appears to be a good match. And so that is the matte lipstick over the top of the Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. That matte lipstick feels very comfortable. It doesn't feel drying, and it was smooth like butter. So I do like that, and I think it pulls a little bit more warm, and I think it kind of vibes very well with the warmth in the crease, with the eyeshadows, a little bit of that kind of warm peachy color that's coming through with that pink blush on the cheeks. I think this is looking really nice. So I think I'm gonna leave it here. I'm not gonna layer any more lip products for today, but this is the full completed look. What do you think? And that is it. That is the look for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, showing you how some of these products work. Obviously, you will see more of these in future videos, so subscribe so you don't miss out. Everything is going to be listed for you down below. Every product that I'm using will be linked, including the products that I already had, so my complexion-based products that were applied ahead of time. Off camera, I will list those as well, and my shade ranges, everything is going to be linked, as I said before. Those links are affiliate, so if you use them, I appreciate you so much for supporting my channel, and I do earn a commission off of those, so I just kind of want to be full transparent with you on those links. And check it out. Let me know what you think of this look, and that's it. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk very soon. Bye-bye.